Good morning, lovely people. How are you all doing today? I do hope you're well. I am well, but I'm so tired. I'm really dog tired. Dog tired but happy. I think it's just my natural rhythm. We've come to the end of another month, and I think always by the end of the month I feel ugh. And then in a couple of days, at the beginning of a new month, I'll start to feel woo again and looking and moving forward. I'm not at home today in my usual thoughts on book corner. There's a very particular reason for that. I can't believe this. I'm kind of staggered. The more I've thought about this in the last couple of days, and actually, in a way, this thought has popped up a lot of times throughout this whole month, knowing what I was going to... I can't speak. Knowing that at the end of the month, there'd be a particular number on this month. Because today marks my 4-year anniversary of going without a wage. Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. So 4 years ago today, I received my last paycheck. I'd handed my notice in a month ago. I ended up being signed off sick because I could barely walk. So I wasn't at work at all for most of April. I think it was pretty much the whole of April. But yeah, today, that day 4 years ago, I had my last paycheck, and really, honestly, truthfully, had no idea. I was going to say I had no idea what was to come. I had some idea, but I had no idea that I'd be doing this 4 years later. My goodness me. And so the reason I decided to film this in the shed today, on another really beautiful bright morning. It's a bit chilly today, hence I've got a jumper on, but yeah, I decided to film down here today because frankly, none of this would have been possible without the garden. As I was coming to that decision 4 years ago, I mean, that decision process about leaving work had started at the end of the previous year, so at the end of 2016. That kind of nugget of an idea of, would it be possible for me to, I've just got to get comfy, I've got a ton of clobber with me. Yes, would it be possible, is it possible for me to live off the land for a year? That was the idea initially. So if I hadn't had the garden, I don't know what I would have done. I honestly don't. It hardly bears thinking about, but yeah, the garden has been the backbone of the last 4 years for me. Not only because obviously it feeds me and you know, I know some of you have followed me right since day one, thank you so much, but you've seen now over these last 4 years that I do feed myself from this half plot. Some of you who are new to the channel have looked back on, I think it was either November or December 2019 video, when I did a little video about, I was sitting in the kitchen sort of rounding up my harvest, what I'd had to harvest that year, and what that would have cost me in the shops if I'd gone to buy it. And even at that stage I hadn't included everything, but yeah, you know, I've shown that with very little money to invest in the garden, very little money, but plenty of hard work, commitment, consistency, it is possible for me to feed myself from this little garden. So I only have water with me today, nothing stronger, but I'm going to say cheers to my little garden for feeding me. But also, of course, because I've been filming, I've brought you all along throughout this whole process, filming not just the garden, but all different aspects of my life as someone living without a wage and living really frugally. That, of course, has generated a little bit of income each month for me to pay my bills through doing YouTube. Are you off now, Rusty? So yeah, it's been quite tight financially. It's been most of the time it's been just enough, pay the bills, have food to eat, not much excess. But then of course I introduced the shop, and at the moment, oh my goodness, sewing is not happening. Needle and thread sewing, it's just not happening at all. I'll explain in a sec. But yeah, so this beautiful little oasis, this paradise, this heaven on earth for me. This is the whole reason I'm here today, 4 years on, still without a wage. It feeds me, it gives me something to share with folk via YouTube, that pays the bills. But so much more than that. It's been that whole, I've talked about it so often, I know, I don't want to bore everybody, but that thing of community. I have such good friends here. This garden has been a balm to my soul when I've been feeling it's really miserable, really quite down in the dumps. It's been company when I felt lonely. It really has been everything. So there's hardly a day goes by when I don't have a thought of gratitude for it. And certainly when I'm here, literally every time I walk in that gate, I think, oh, I'm so lucky to have this. So yeah, 4 years later, and like I say, I don't think I need to look back at my own video. I don't think on that day of getting my last paycheck, I don't think I speculated this far forward. Initially I was kind of thinking, well, can I do it for a year? And it just kind of gathered its own momentum. I got into a completely new rhythm of life. And as I was mentioning just before, you know, sometimes it is really hard. It is hard in terms of it's hard work. There's rarely a day off, rarely, if ever. The hours I work and the money I generate, it's ridiculous. You would never do it for that reason because it's just not viable. But oh my goodness, I've never been happier. I mean, there are days, of course there are days when I'm feeling a bit down and a bit miserable. But I would have those feelings if I had a job and I was earning, you know, £2,000 a month and having foreign holidays every year, etc., etc. I'd still have those feelings. You know, I see my friends who are in their work lives and earning really decent money in some cases. They get miserable. We're all allowed to have moments of feeling miserable, whatever our lives are. And when I'm feeling miserable, it's not necessarily because of the way I'm living. You know, it's just human emotions, the ups and downs of life. Thinking about this in the last few days in particular, of thinking, I mean, my goodness me, the hours are long. I'm kind of on every single day. And you think, is it worth it? Really? Is it worth it? Oh my goodness me, yeah. And I think for me, one of the biggest, the absolute biggest things about all of this, excuse me, and it's gonna, this, how do I phrase it? It's going to sound odd because, like I say, in a way, I am tied to the garden, tied to the seasons. I have to, and I have to get things done in order to produce that food to feed myself, for example. So, you know, I can't wake up tomorrow and think, oh, I just fancy a day off, I fancy doing nothing. That's not possible. However, I still feel more free today than ever before. And one of the biggest bonuses, if you like, the best thing about my way of life now is I'm not time constrained. This is going to sound odd. I do work really long hours most days, but it's not a case of I don't have to scrabble to get myself up in the morning. I don't have to be somewhere at a certain time, clock in, do my work for that person, clock out at a certain time, thinking all day, oh my goodness, I can't wait for home time. There's no pressure to be somewhere for a certain time, even if I'm not feeling like it, struggling to get going, whatever it is. If I start my working day at 10, that's fine. I'll work till 10 at night, 12 at night. If I start my working day at 6, sometimes I do in the summer, fine. I'm just not in that kind of on that treadmill of what's the time? Oh, I need to get out of the house. I need to go and get my bus. I need to go and get my train. I need to be somewhere by such and such a time. Oh, what if there are delays? Oh, maybe I should leave a bit earlier. You know, I'm not doing that horrible 1.5 to 2 hour commute every day. Oh, that was just mind-numbing. So yeah, despite the fact that my hours are considerably longer now than they've ever been at any time in my life, they're my hours. I'm free. I'm giving those hours to me. Everything I do, oh my goodness, this sounds very selfish and princessy, but everything I do now is for me. I mean, it's not quite true because I do stuff for other people, but as a volunteer, I'm not doing it, you know, at specific times and on their whim, as it were. So yeah, I think that's the single biggest difference in my life now, is that there's that slight flexibility and freedom. I get as much out of my life now as I put in, and I want a lot out of my life, so I'm willing to put a lot in. Yay! And you know, I just popped into the post office on my way here. There's a really long queue, so I was in the queue for ages. Hang on a sec. Sorry about that. Yeah, and one of the things I was thinking about in the queue was that, yeah, I do work really hard now, but I'm rewarded for it. The more I put in, the more I get out. And, you know, there are so many jobs, and I don't just mean like when I was nursing, but all sorts of jobs and situations in my life where, you know, I've got a really strong work ethic. I'm really conscientious. I always work hard. Whatever I've done in life, I work hard at it. But there can be someone next to me who is slacking and being a complete lazy, but they'll get paid the same as me. It doesn't matter how hard I work, how conscientious I am, I don't get any more pay for it. And that person next to me who's doing nothing is going to be paid the same. So one of the great things about the way I live now is there's a real kind of fairness and equality about it, that, you know, if I'm lazy and don't do the garden, I don't get the reward of the food, you know, my bad. But because I work hard, I'm rewarded really, really well. There's a good lesson in that for us all, isn't there? It's, you get out what you put in. If you want something in life, work for it, commit to it, give it your all, do it heart and soul. And I'm happy to do it heart and soul because, like I was saying earlier, it's for me. I'm not doing this for a boss. Yay! So, yeah, the last couple of months have obviously been a bit different for me because of Auntie Teapot dying at the beginning of March. And throughout all of March, you know, I was mentioning in a previous video how the plate spinning analogy, I kind of dropped a couple of plates because I was focusing on sorting things out for the funeral and that kind of stuff. I thought things would get a bit easier in April, but actually I've still been really, really busy sorting out her affairs. Lots of phone call time, lots of emails, that sort of thing. A bit of backwards and forwards to her house. I had to have all her medical equipment, which is all on loan. Had to have all of that collected, and that was a long long day because it was one of those, you know, pick up time 8 in the morning till 6, and I said I can't get there for 8 in the morning. The first train, there isn't actually a direct train. I would have had to get up at 4 in the morning, leave at 5, and I still wouldn't have got there till 7:30. So they were really good. They said, okay, we'll make it 10 o'clock the earliest, which still meant a really early start for me. And, you know, I was down there all day and then train home. By the time I got home, it was late evening. But that's good. Tick, that's another thing sorted. And also, while I was there, because I was waiting for so long, I was able to open 14 months worth of mail. So yeah, I've still been really, really busy with getting her things sorted. And it was really clear, I think, even in the first week of April, that was going to be taking up quite a bit of my time. And I was starting to get a little bit, I could feel it in myself, a little bit stressy. I was sort of sitting down each week, doing a sort of weekly plan, thinking, right, I need to get the garden sorted, and that is a priority because that's food. I need to do teapot stuff. There are some time kind of constraints with that, so I really do need to sort things. When am I even going to start cutting fabric? Never mind sewing it to make bunting. So I think it was sort of sometime in that first week of April, so three weeks or so ago, I just said, you know what? Forget sewing. You just have to completely forget it for now, because even if it's sort of in the back of my mind, that's using up energy and time I don't have. So forget it. One of the things I found over the last 4 years, and I think it's probably an innate quality of mine anyway, is I'm quite good at organising and being organised. You know, I think you have to be, for example, to be a nurse, when you're managing 2 patients and they both have a lot of needs, a lot of needs. You have to be really organised to make sure you're meeting the needs of both your patients in a timely manner and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I'm naturally an organised person. And I think that has really, really stood me in good stead in the last 4 years, because there are times, like now, when I simply can't do everything on the list, so I have to prioritise. So that's what I've done this month. I've prioritised the garden, sorting out Auntie Teapot, and still just keeping my, you know, YouTube going, so I can still pay my bills, but everything else has just gone for now. I struggled with that thought for a couple of days at the beginning of the month, but as time has gone on, it's like, you know what, it's fine. Just there's no point in stressing about it. I physically can't do it all. Never mind mentally. I was saying that I think like I always kind of feel this tiredness at the end of the month, and I do. And then I go into another month and that kind of picks me up again. One of the things I do at the end of every month, apart from chat to you all and reflect on how it's all going, is my pinboard. My pinboard in the kitchen on my desk in front of my computer. It is Vivi's Kitchen Garden HQ. By the end of the month, it's a mess of notes of things to do. Down one whole side, I have day by day for the whole month with just an odd word like plot, sewing, teapot, whatever, just to remind me of like my priority job for that day. So I get to the end of the month and I take all the bits of paper off my pinboard and write out a new schedule for the coming month. I look at, you know, what have I not managed to get done in April, for example. Is it really important? Can it go on a kind of a new list that's a sort of a longer term list? What did I not manage to get done that's a priority? Right, let's get that sorted. We'll try and get it sorted within the first week of May so that it's off the blimmin' table, off the pinboard. So I shall be doing that later. And hopefully there's no you know, so the situation with Auntie Teapot, even though she was really, really old, she'd have been 101 at the end of May. That was a curveball, even though with her being old, it was expected at any time, of course it was. It was still a curveball. And I don't now think, I don't want to jinx myself, touch some wood, I don't think there's any curveballs. But that's the nature of a curveball, isn't it? You can't predict it. Oh, we'll see. Anyway, I think I've probably, I think I'm probably sorted as we go into May. Lots of garden time. I know there are quite a few of you who aren't quite so keen on the gardening videos. You prefer the other ones. Oh, morning. As I'm saying a lot today, I'm kind of, I think my thoughts are everywhere. There will be other videos in May too. I've got a few things lined up. There's not a curveball, but there's something very different for me coming up in the next few days, which I'm going to try and bring you along for. We'll see. Not saying anything else. It's not anything exciting. It's not, it's not going to change my life or anything. It's just a bit different for me. So that's coming up. But yeah, 4 years. 4 years without a wage. It is bonkers, isn't it? I mean, just imagine it for yourself right now. And also, I know folk who've been with me for ages will know this, but for slightly new subscribers, I don't have a pension. That's like 15 years off. It's miles away, and it'll be tiny. So no pension, no benefits, or I think as you say in the States, government assistance. So no, like literally nothing coming in from anyone else other than what I generate for myself. I was always taught when I was a kid that pride comes before a fall. Pride is one of the deadly sins. We shouldn't be we shouldn't be proud. But I'm just going to have a moment today to say, you know what? I am proud. I love that song. I really want to sing it, but I can't because of copyright. About, what have you done today to make yourself feel proud? I'm proud to contribute to my community here. I'm proud to contribute to the community, the wider community, through the gloriousness of YouTube. I'm proud of myself for just thinking outside of the box sometimes, getting creative sometimes, finding ways to simply be without leeching on other people, without bugging other people. Just proud of myself for getting on with it and doing it, and most of the time for doing it without too much fuss or fanfare. I feel like I need a fanfare today though. Right. I think I need to go and do some watering in the garden, so I'm going to leave it there for now. I know there are quite a few of you as well who, over the course of the years with me, you've been working towards possibly doing something similar. I know a few of you have taken a plunge and started your own journey, and I just want to wish you all the most joy and success, however you measure that success, but yeah, joy in doing it, peace in those times when you can sit with yourself and know that you're doing the right thing for you and your family, for the planet, whatever it is, and excitement at the prospect of another month of doing it, another year of doing it maybe. It is possible. Yay. Right. I definitely need something stronger than this to celebrate with, don't I? I haven't got anything. Just cheers, garden. And, oh, gloopy gloopy. Finally, obviously, cheers to all of you. Because, honestly, yes, the garden feeds me. But the bill paying comes from all of you lot watching YouTube, watching my videos. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for all your interactions, comments, messages. I truly feel like I know you, you know. I know that's daft, isn't it? Well, we're pen pals. We're sort of pen pals, aren't we? We've got to know each other over the years. And you've shown me so much support and love through watching and through commenting. And there have been a few times in the last 4 years when I've had a bit of a rough time of it. And you've sent so much love. And I feel it. And it's glorious. So thank you. Thank you all. Right, yeah, that's it for today. Oh, sirens, they're coming to, it's the thought police. I'm going to go and get on with a few things in the garden and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day too. I will see you soon, but for now, cheerio.